We good? We going? Class. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Btec Philosophers, episode 17, I believe. 17. With me, comedian Elliot Still, and my co-host,
comedian Michael Odewale.
And this week we've got a guest and a good friend of mine.
Listen. We normally say guest.
You shouldn't,
because we've had one.
Because I wanted to say my name.
But I want to say super special.
Yeah.
Super special guest. Not just guest, super special guest.
Okay. I'm sorry, sir.
I was giving you the big intro.
I'll let you down. I'm sorry. I apologize. Go on, say my name, bro.
Dom, good to see you on the
Wow. You know, my dad, he's Nigerian. He's cussing you right
Dom.
now. He's like, say his full name.
Well, I don't say Michael Odewale. It's taken me 17 weeks to learn.
Well, you know. Wait, whoa. How long have you known me for? Yeah, there we go.
5-6 years now.
There we go.
To be fair, Elliot's pronunciation of your name could have been considered a hate crime. So it's a good thing.
This is also true.
But
can he... We were talking about this earlier, about his heritage, so... Can he actually do that?
Can we clear this up for the pod, actually? Yeah. Your heritage.
Right.
Go.
Well, you know, what is heritage? I think heritage is more how you feel at the time.
Luke, our producer, could you get up the definition of heritage, please? 'Cause I don't think it's how you feel at the time. Rachel Dolezal really proved that. Definitively, it's not that.
Well, Can I just say my name? Do you know why I have to say it? Because I received an email from someone that was looking for me, and they're like, "You never say your name," and I'm like, "Yeah, because I'm hiding from the police." No, my name's Idominic Efioto.
We should explain that Dom is also a police officer. That is why. Yeah,
there you go.
That was a siren, man.
Can we add those in, like, you know, in the introduction,
like the Charlie Sloth?
Yeah,
we I was gonna say Tim Westwood, but Charlie Sloth.
We've got a couple of those buttons there. We've stayed away from pressing them because we don't want to come on one of those podcasts. But we have also in the past been one of those. Like the day we found out we had those. Do you want to press a button, Luke? See what happens.
Do we have a police?
Which button?
All right, well, that's the end of that game.
I think.
Go for it. See what that one does.
Nothing at all.
It'd be funny if we just, like, eventually we come out there and there's just a fire going on in the Vauxhall studios. I
think we've
17 dead. They're like...
We need to tell our producers beforehand when we want noises. We can't just put them on the spot for noises.
I mean,
I can make some noises.
Can you make a police siren noise? We have Dominic, current police officer.
You backed out of the surname there as well, you piece of shit.
No, because if I'm Nigerian and I get it wrong, it's extra bad.
But yeah, we first...
No siren.
No siren.
We first met because we both trained at KO in South London, Muay Thai gym.
It was a very good gym.
It was a great gym. If you that gym, my mate, there's a comedian Kai Humphries used to train at KO East, and he always put it perfectly of like, they don't care that you pay money and you go there. That's not, they're not like, it's not like a friendly, like, it's like, you're here to fight.
Yep.
Regardless of whatever you're doing, you're fighting.
Can I just say, 2 minutes 55, that's a new record for Elliot mentioning that he does MMA at some point in the pod.
That's Muay Thai.
Muay Thai.
And it's also very relevant to the conversation.
I'm just saying. I know this is the first time.
It was very relevant.
This is the first time it's been relevant. This is a new record for mentioning that you partake in.
Oh, sharp, bruv. You did 8 boxing lessons. You went in took a topless photo next to the guy. Mike's boxing guy sent him a message one day. Mike was like, "I'm training today," and he was like, "No, I'm depressed."
He's a
Did you do white collar boxing?
No, I didn't do that. We didn't. We just like a boxing class that he turns up to sometimes, and you know, I go and.
Was it one of those corporate ones where you're in the office and you come out and?
No, he's like official. He's a
9 rounds, isn't it? Something like that.
My ankle is currently injured, so that's why I'm not boxing. But I'll be back soon enough, and then I'll be back in the ring. And
You never went in the ring.
No, I never was in the ring. I'll eventually get to
feels. He feels like he wouldn't. Yeah. That's what that matters.
Mike, well, I know Mike in his head. Mike will believe that the world of boxing is missing out on one of the greats because his ankle hasn't healed.
Yeah.
Starting at the age of 27.
Me and Elliot wrestled one time, and it was even. It was even, bro.
I want to see that later.
You see, you'll notice. You know when you've got friends who don't train and they go, "Oh, go on, show us something," and you can't because it's like, I'll hurt. I will hurt you. Like you don't.
Show me something.
You know, like so I had a mate one time who asked me to throw a leg kick at him, and it was like, bro, you don't want me to do it, even lightly, like, because you're going to hit the nerve, you're going to hit exactly where the muscle splits off. Something's going to happen. No, bro, I'll be fine. Do it. And he's injured. Yeah. You know that thing where it's like, so especially with wrestling, where it's like, I'm not going to
I wasn't asking you to do some special technique. It was my body weight against your body weight, and it was matched.
Do you know what I always say? Do you remember Howard?
Yes.
Yeah, so I still have a lump of, like, on my leg from probably, 5 years ago, from him leg kicking me when we were doing sparring. And that's because I didn't block. I often show it to me. I'm like, feel this. She's like, what the hell is that? I'm like, that's because I didn't block. And that was from Howard kicking me about 4 or 5 times. So when people are like, oh yeah, give me a leg kick, I'm like, bro, you don't want that pain in your life.
Well, but do you admit that Nigerian strength is a thing?
I'm only half Nigerian, so maybe I've only got 50% of
You
the
got
power.
50% Nigerian strength, but my Nigerian ancestral strength against his cloudy heritage could be anywhere feeling on the or whatever day he feels like strength. It was matched. It was even. My ancestors were with me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to start commenting on this because this is how white people end up having to do an apology because they start going.
Let's clip this.
Whole race war. You're like, race war.
Well, you know, as a central defensive midfielder, you want to, then all of a sudden you're having to go on BT Sport and apologise.
Leg kicked my ancestors in Hackney.
But yeah, you know that because I heard just explain. Howard was an Irish person who trained out of gym. Like he was a wicked, such a good Muay Thai fighter. I only sparred him a couple times, and I was never at the level of like you, Howard, or any of the good guys at that gym.
I wasn't that good, bro.
Yes,
I'm still struggling.
But there was a difference. So the way sparring used to work at our gym was you turn up, you were a beginner, you did the beginner classes, and then you got promoted to general. And that would happen after about 5 months or so. You became general level, and the jump between beginner and general was massive. It was a big jump. You then, if you were general level, got to turn up to Tuesday sparring, 1.5-hour sparring session. Now sparring would start like any normal session. You'd go in, you do the warm ups that were like 20 minutes long. The warm ups were designed to kill you. Mm-hmm. You then do one full.
Shout out Mark.
And Mark Goodridge, and then you'd start your 1-to-1s, your 2-to-2, little bit like Dutch, what's called Dutch drills on each other. So you're hitting each other lightly. Then it would be 3 rounds boxing, 3 rounds kickboxing, 3 rounds K1, 3 rounds Muay Thai, followed by like something. I was there. So my second ever sparring session, I got fucking battered. And what happened was 2 of the pro guys, Wilker and Jordan, did something to piss off crew. Piss off crew at the time. Were you at this session?
Yeah, I was at most, and
so we at the end as punishment all got 500 burpees. And 500 burpees at the end of like
I haven't done that in my life.
12 round sparring, bro. They're turning the lights of the gym off. I'm on like number 405 and I'll just go down, do one, and there's like a 5-minute break now. And they went to me, just go home, mate. Just go home, finish them at home. And I never finished those burpees.
Your legs must have been jelly.
Oh, it was awful. It was, but that was a gym where it was a gym. I think you have to, at that level, if you're running a martial arts gym, especially in the bit of Thornton Heath it was in, with the people you've got coming in who like, there was a good mix of people, but a lot of them, you know, especially if you've got kids classes, things like this, you're going to have kids coming off the street of Thornton Heath. They're going to have an attitude issue. They're going to, you know, be from the area. You've got to very quickly get them into discipline. Yeah. And, you know.
The only way, like the quickest way to get people into discipline in fighting is just sparring with Walker. Not even Walker, it's Jordan. Jordan Smith. I'm going to say his full name, Jordan Smith.
He fought for a world title.
Yeah, Jordan Smith. So and at that time, he had anger issues. I feel like he just wanted to beat everyone up.
Yeah.
And you were his... and if you... I remember one time hitting him and I was like, oh, that was clean. And then you see his face change and you're like, no, bro, we're not a Muay Thai Grand Prix. Please don't kill me. Please, Jordan.
Now, I remember one time boxing, it was humbling because they put me up against a 14-year-old to spar. I was like, I got this kid, innit? And then the coach was like, take it easy on him. And we both said, yeah. Right? At the same time, you took it to me? Like, he messed me up, man.
Yeah, there was
the spirit of like them old school boxers in him. I could feel it. You know what I mean,
there was a lot of that at KO where the sparring, because my problem was, because I'm a pussy, I would hit someone and like I'd mentally be beaten, because like I remember one time that there's this lad that still trains with Crew Sam, Rion. I'd actually love. Yeah, right. So just right. If you're
Shout out
listening to
Rion.
if you're listening to this podcast, yeah, Google Rion Wong. Look at this guy. I can explain. This is the person you would least like to. If you saw this guy, you'd be like,
What?
"No, I don't want to fight."
I'm
this
not
guy.
fighting anyone Googleable.
Like
You got a Wikipedia page
nickname's the
before I
Beast.
fight you. I'm
he's
not
nicknamed
fighting
the Beast, Rion, yeah. And we started around about the same time actually, and he started like 6 months before me.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'd probably be a decent person to get on the pod one time, like tell his story and things like that. He says his sound,
Yeah, definitely.
He's definitely a sound
Cool guy, man.
cool dude, but you know, he's a lad from Fulton Heath and like sorting himself out. Fights all on professional shows and stuff now, and we're doing this drill where it's phone box fighting. So if you hit someone, they go out of if they go out of the way, they owe 10 burpees. And Kieran, who was taking a class, so got a bit excited because I got the better of Rion. I slipped something and went back with a straight down the middle, and he moved out. And bro, when I tell you, yeah, I've never looked at someone doing burpees more like just counting them in my head, like, you know, after he's done these, he's gonna fuck you up, you know. And he just literally calm as anything went down, did these burpees, and as well there was a little bit of like, nah, Elliot just put me out of the thing. Like there was a little bit of that, like I can't be having that. And Kieran was all laughing, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
General's put you out. A General's put
Oh,
you out."
gosh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Your nickname's the General.
no, because I was a general, and he was like an elite or an advanced or whatever they, and-
He's at the top.
and he came in and he threw this knee at me, yeah, and this is the sound I made. Like that is that is, and I was pretty shredded at the time, yeah, and he found a bit like there was like a bit of fat in my sternum and just dropped me to the floor. And I remember I didn't have to do any burpees or anything at the end of the session. And Elliot came in and she was like, "What's up with him?" And Kieran just went, "He's had a long day."
Dude, Rion's done that to me a few times.
Yeah,
How long have you been training for, would you say?
How long was it? I came before you at K.
You
Maybe
were-
7-8 years.
Yeah, you
7, 8 years.
were before me.
Yeah.
How long have you been a police officer?
10 years.
10 years.
Did they?
Yeah, no, you go.
Sorry, did they make you have to learn anything as a police officer?
God no.
Oh, I mean, you mean in general? Yeah, go out there, son. You'll figure out.
Literally, that's what it is. Like they have like it's called OST. They changed the name. I can't remember. They've changed. They rebranded it. It used to be called Officer Safety Training. They've rebranded it, and it's I want to be nice, but I don't think I can. It's terrible. It was. It's only literally in the last couple of months it's become okay-ish. Because 99%, I always say this, 90% of people can't fight.
Yeah.
And probably like 95% of people have never had a fight in their life. Do you know what I'm saying? They're like, they've never had any conflict past, I'm going to punch you in the face, and then it gets separated. Blah,
Or they'll
blah,
hold
blah.
me back.
Yeah, hold me back, fam. Hold me back.
That
Hold
was
You
me
know
me.
back.
how mad you are when they don't hold you back. It's mad.
Now I've got to do something.
That was me at school. That was me. I was the punch a wall on the way out. I'll catch you out there, innit? And then I'll diffuse in the teacher's office. I'll be like, please don't let him come out.
That heavy breathing.
I talk so much shit as well. Like I deserve the beating I'd get.
Yeah. So yeah, and it was literally, but it's literally based around like baton strikes and some of the stuff they teach you, like piston punches. I'm like, that's not how you punch. And a lot of the trainers, I don't want to like, I'm not shitting on the trainers. A lot of them are really good, and a lot of them do martial arts themselves. They know it's terrible.
Right.
They're like, well, I have to teach this, but this is stupid.
So what is the minimum level of fitness required for a police officer? Because I see some of these dons. I'm like,
5.4? Is it 5.4? 5.4 on the bleep test.
5.4 on the bleep test.
That's a warm up.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they used to. So when I started back in the day, I sound like some old guy. Like back in my day, yeah. Basically, you had to push.
You could smoke weed on the
it was all right, innit? Nah. But they had the push-pull test where you had this machine I've never seen in my life, and you could push it, and it would give you how much you're basically pushing and pulling.
Right.
And they'll be like, yeah, you need to do like 30 kg or something terrible like that. I know your face.
30 kg.
It's a joke, but they kind of got rid of it, and I don't know why.
So that's like a bench press with 2 5s on. That's just
yeah. But 20 guard, yeah. And people struggled with that, and I'm like, well, let's put this into context. If I'm a police officer and you're a police officer, and I'm on the floor and I'm about to like, I'm down for whatever reason, and you need to drag me, not pick me up, just drag me. I weigh like what? Normally 92 kg.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna be able to drag me. So I'm gonna die because you're too lazy to pick me up.
Yeah.
You're not strong enough. Not too lazy. I apologize. You're not strong enough, capable enough to save my
You're
life.
weak. Yes.
Does that affect your mindset when you're sort of in situations with other police officers and you think, I'm the only like, there's maybe me and another guy here who know what the fuck we're doing in case anything goes down, and the other three.
Cannon fodder, innit?
Let's hope their piston strike.
Piston punches work. Nah, yeah, it does. The reality is, it does. There are people that don't want to work with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's messed up, but they're thinking about their safety. At the end of the day, everyone wants to go home.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go on.
Oh, sorry, no, go.
Yeah, but like for me personally, I know I can take care of myself. First, I talk, and my talk is I always try to diffuse, and I also tell them there's nothing scarier than someone saying I really don't want to have to put my hands on you.
Oh yeah.
Because when someone says that, if your brain starts thinking, you're like, wait, this guy says he doesn't want to put weight, so he could probably murder me.
Yeah.
So like, it gets their brain working. So I'm just like, bro, I don't want to have to put my hands on you. So we can diffuse this. We can resolve this.
Yeah, what's some key words I can use, like, to like in these situations when I want to diffuse the situation and I know I can't fight?
Bro, mate, no one's starting with you, bro.
No, but that's what I mean.
What, they robbing your cardigans?
I want people to think I can fight in situations, but I can't fight.
Oh, it's all based around like stoicism and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
If you just act mad stoic and just like, do you know what? Cool. I'm sorry, bro. And you apologize for anything. People are like, this guy could probably murder me, and he's so controlled, and he just walked away.
Or just like, I told my mum I wouldn't do this again.
Yeah.
I had it. My ex-girlfriend, she moved to London from the countryside and didn't quite understand how certain bits of London worked in a way. And I've always found, like, I haven't been in a street fight in a very long time, nor do I want to be. But I've always found there's a little bit of like, even just taking a stance against somebody is enough to go, this person has had some level of training. This person has had some level of, they're already keeping a distance. Like, you know, even if
like
you
the
just
fighting up and all that,
just keeping a hand out, keeping something, there's like a little bit of measurement of distance. And see, we got in during the COVID, there was a situation at a bar where two guys turned up, and we're just straight up arseholes to the staff. We're starting, threatening to smash the place up. And it came like a thing where I was like, lads, can you just keep it down?
What made you decide to be Superman?
Because they're now interrupting my night.
Right.
It's do you know what I mean? And also, I think if one person look, there's 8 of us at the bar having a drink, like all separated. There's 2 of them, all right, they were big lads. But if 8 guys, if everyone got together and stood up and went, lads, fuck off, I don't think they're going to want to fight.
Yeah, all they need to do is knock out the first 2. And
but all you need to do is knock out the first.
You do the rule of fight. You destroy the first one. Everyone else goes.
Well, I'm saying that not stuff out. There was these guys fly tipping outside my road one time. So I live on like a through road in Fort Heath, and everyone was fly tipping on it. And I go out. I was only going to Tesco's to get some sweets, and these guys are fly tipping. So I get my phone out. And bro, they just surrounded me in it. They just like,
stop getting involved in stuff, bro.
I know it's my fault. Like, and also, by the way, to anyone listening, this is why guys victim blame. You notice how I started the story there, and then the guys were immediately, it's your fault for like, some proper like. As a guy, you get victim.
Just call the council.
But what you did wasn't even heroic. It was real Karen stuff. I'm filming you.
Yeah. Believe me, this was the most Karen fucking. You're not meant to put that there.
Just free yourself in the deep end, boy.
And they surrounded, and like one of them was, and there was just 2 of them, and they'd have fucked me up, man. There was no ifs or buts about it. Like, it was, they were gonna fuck me up. So I had to sort of like hold ground a little bit, and I just went back in and had a little cry. Like, when the adrenaline leaves your body, and I was like, and I messaged my mates about it, and I was like, I could barely get the keys in the door. I was fucking trembling that much. And they still bring it up anytime I'm like, I've got a jiu-jitsu fight coming up. They'll just bring up that little quote that I put in the thing, like, this lad couldn't get my keys in the door because he's trembling.
They've starred that bit.
Oh, they love it.
Highlight. So are there times, like, obviously, is it like when you're off duty? Is it the same thing? You're never really off duty.
They draw that into us, you know that, right?
Really?
That is like something they tell you. You're never off duty.
Really? Even in a foreign country on holiday, Barbados?
It don't count.
No, it don't count.
I'm on the beach, bro.
In the airport lobby, you're on duty.
Yeah. Do you know I got stopped in Jamaica? You just brought back bad memories for me.
Oh, really?
They told me I couldn't be a police officer. They were like, what do you do? Because, they stopped me because they thought I was some drug mule.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay. And then they were like, yeah, what do you do? And I was like, I'm a police officer. And they were like, no, you're not. You can't be. Look at your hair. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm like, okay. Like, wait 1 sec. Let me give you context.
Yeah. Wow.
There you go.
Like, how long has that been growing?
So they
Right?
were like, yeah, huh?
How long has that been growing?
How long has it been? I don't know.
Mike wants
5
to grow
years, 6
dreads,
years,
innit?
5
So
years.
One day.
Mike's derailed your story.
I'm just taking notes now. What's the heck?
Yeah, 5 years.
5 years. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Coconut oil.
I have to ask Mia.
Okay.
She's
We'll
a-
get that. We'll get it off the pod. We'll get it off the
Yeah.
pod, man. We'll get it.
She just does my hair. I'm lazy with it.
We'll take that.
So
But continue with your story.
yeah,
This
they
is
were
more
just
important.
like,
than-
yeah, you can't be a police officer. What are you doing? Nah, like they searched through all my bags and all that stuff, and I'm just like, I'm hurt. I said, do you know what? When you come to the UK, I'm gonna see you. I ain't never gonna. I was just salty. I'm like, you guys got guns and you stopped me at the border and there's nothing I could do. You emasculated me
When you're-
in front of my mum. I'm like,
You with your mum?
Mad.
I'm back from a wedding. My sister got married in Jamaica.
Oh, so this was in the UK?
This was in Jamaica.
Oh,
The
right,
Jamaican police just for no reason.
Did
man,
they
just destroyed it.
apologize?
What for? they didn't do nothing wrong, well, in their eyes.
Right.
They just, just wanted to just take me down.
Because I remember listening to your episode of your pod. You interviewed Commissioner. I forgot his name.
Mr. House.
It's the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly podcast. It's
Good,
really-
Bad, and
Thank
Ugly
you.
podcast.
Thank
Got the
you.
bottle here.
I've got a flask here. It's
got the
amazing.
flask here with the title on it.
Yeah.
Promote that.
Yeah.
And you did. There's an interesting part for me. Many interesting parts where you talk about stop and search, and a big
Yeah.
part is apologizing afterwards. Like if you don't find anything, obviously don't always
Bro, you can
Stop.
apologize always, man.
always apologize. Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with saying you lose? I said this. You lose nothing. If you've got an ego, that's where it hits you. But me, I'm like, man, what do I need an ego for?
Yeah.
I can just, I'm doing my job. I'm keeping everyone safe. People are safe because you ain't got none. So
Yeah.
you know what? My bad, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sweating and I haven't taken drugs. So
Yeah.
please, I'm gonna have
It's
drugs.
very hot. It's very hot.
The
in here.
lights are on me. They're amazing lights, but I'm
We
sweating.
need a fan.
It's fine, but yeah, the
Patreon people.
If you just shout at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you I'm stereotyping black boy. Yeah, okay, cool. Sorry, I've got a sign that my
Dom has basically brought a PR in him in the
I've
form
got-
of the
I have
lovely Mia.
getting fired is a real thing. Like I'm literally walking along that line, like I'm teetering on it. No one's done this kind of stuff before.
we are genuinely stunned you've come on this podcast.
No, but I'm
This
down.
is an active. Appreciate this, people. Appreciate this.
We have to, but as I was saying, apologizing costs nothing, and if we can get to that level where we can interact with society and be like, do you know what? This is my job. I understand it's intrusive, it's invasive, it's embarrassing to stop and search people, and to be stopped. I've been stopped and searched, and you can say sorry. The public will be able to relate to it a little bit more. They'll still hate it. They'll be like, oh my god, I didn't do it. Especially when you've done nothing wrong at all. But you can make it a little bit better. I've been stopped and searched, like literally. Oh, get out of the car. I'll tell you what you've done wrong. I'm like, I was going to the police station. I was going to work outside of my police station. Yeah, shout out TSG. Outside of my police station, they stopped me at a stop site. I'm about to turn left off of Buckingham Palace Road into Belgravia police station, and they've stopped me. He's like, get in there, and I was like, okay. And then I wound down the window and I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, get out of the car and I'll tell you what you've done wrong. And I was like, okay. As I've got out, one of my boys was working on the stop site. So that's my police station. And he was like, yo, what's going on, Dom? And they were like, you're a police officer? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, why do I need
do I have to?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to tell you. Like, clearly I've done something wrong. I was like, do you want to tell me what's wrong? Turns on his camera, beep, beep. Oh, yeah, no, you've done nothing wrong. It's okay. You can. And I'm like, bro, no. I want to know. Like, if I've done something wrong, legitimately.
Yeah.
Because I've been disciplined for not telling people I'm a police officer. And that, to me, that was all based around racism inside of the police. I don't care. I say it all the time. I don't care. And that's a way of them. They don't want to be embarrassed by stopping me because it's embarrassing for them. Because they're like, oh, balls.
To be
I stopped a police
exposed.
officer and now I can't BS him.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
know the law.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's embarrassing for them. They're like, oh gosh, this happened so many times in Thornton Heath as well. Got stopped. Same. They took my warrant card. I showed it to them. They took it and they were like, yeah. And their explanation was, oh, terrorism.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, let me just move the mic
Yeah.
closer.
And I'm like,
Just move-
terrorism. I'm like, wait, let's
Move
be
it
honest.
Further, sorry.
Innit? Yeah, no, let's be honest. Like, do I look like a terrorist? I'm on my way. Like, what does a terrorist look like? And it's not down to colour of skin and stuff. But, I'm driving down London Road in Thornton Heath. What am I going to be doing with a warrant card being a terrorist coming from the gym? I'm like, dude, I'm going to work. Like, I've got a warrant card. And they literally searched, like, they still searched everything. after having it. And I'm like, that's entrenched in racism.
Yeah.
Like, black guy, police officer, no.
Does that dishearten you? I mean, I don't know your reasons. I want to presume your reasons for joining the police, but that dishearten you, like being in this and then experiencing stuff like that.
A
still?
lot.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen that skit on, is it Robot Chicken with Darth Vader? Please tell me you have. And he cries in the shower. Because they told him he didn't get like a loan. That's me.
Oh yeah.
For the Death Star. That's me. I go in the shower and I just cry. And me just holds me. Like, don't worry, it's okay. You're making a change. And it's just like, yeah, it does. But I do everything because I always think about my daughter.
Right.
And when she grows up and she's like, oh, my dad was a police officer, I don't want her to be able to turn to me and be like, what did you do? You know, George Floyd got murdered and there was some big uprising, blah, blah, blah. What were you doing at the time? And I was just like, oh, yeah, no, I just went to work and just collect a paycheck.
Yeah.
It's like, it makes some sort of difference to society. Even if it's one person I can recruit to the Metropolitan Police.
Yeah.
One person I can help that's in trouble. One person that I can educate in stop and search so they don't, even though they're not the person and they can understand how to deal with it. You know.
I'm gonna have to lie to my daughter about what I was doing, man. I went to a protest for 20 minutes, and then I was like, it's a bit too crowded. I'm gonna go back home.
I went to Black Lives Matter, which is funny. It popped up on my phone. It was 2 years ago today, and you best believe I rang all of my black friends. Hi, you there? I just want you to know that
Elliot, we ain't spoken in 10 months. What's this?
I've done the bare minimum.
We take a selfie together or something?
Yeah. I put a black square on Instagram, but I still went on it in the day. I'm not, I'm not Nelson Mandela. I can't stay off Instagram all day. I've not got that much.
I had to check whether you were defending or protecting statues that day. Actually, I had to check that day. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I was actually when I got caught up in all of that in lockdown.
You say caught up, like you didn't go there intentionally.
No. When I got caught up in when people were coming to London to defend statues.
Oh snap! Okay.
I was actually speaking to a friend of ours about it, Mark Goodridge, and I was kind of like, yeah, we should go up there, fuck them guys, and and then I was a little bit like, maybe that's the anger of being in lockdown and losing my job that I want to go get into a fight with somebody because I haven't done something. So like, if I'm being honest in the future about
you wouldn't
it,
have been doing it for the right reasons.
Well,
or the black reasons.
yeah, and also I really don't think violence helps anybody at a protest. There are times, of course, during protests to be violent. You wouldn't have any change in the world, whether you look at Russia, whether you look at the French Revolution, when you look at anything like that. Of course, this is the thing that people do, is they go, violence is never the answer. Violence is a very effective answer, but has to be used correctly.
Yeah.
You shouldn't just be violent for the sake of, I've got shit going on in my life. Because that's what the one thing I wanted to bring up is, a couple of things I wanted to bring up. When I was on the Black Lives Matter protest, there was a few incidents, and the only people I saw kicking off were white people, because it was a little bit, and Jamali put it perfectly last week, like, it's not your thing, so it doesn't matter if it's punished.
That's why I left after 20 minutes. I could feel the liberal rights coming.
That is not why you wanted to get the tube home.
I could see the dungarees in the distance. I was like, oh no.
Mike,
The white people with dreadlocks, I could see them coming. I could smell them.
The liberal whites are your audience and your friends. Stop talking.
They give me money, yeah. What's your point?
So yeah, the one guy I saw banging on a police van with a police officer, just a female police officer eating a bagel essentially, and who was just like couldn't have cared less. She
What
was
was
just
on
like
the topping?
She was just like, I don't know. That's well, I don't know, avocado.
It's part of the problem.
Yeah. So he was like banging on the thing, and we were just like, I found it kind of embarrassing personally, because I found everyone else was actually very well behaved. And how do you find it when like something like a white person turns up to a Black Lives Matter protest with an "all cops are bastards" sign, but then there's black police officers? So now it's like, well, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Are you telling those police officers that they're bastards because of a racial thing, but they're part of the police?
Yeah, it's crazy. People don't think things through.
Yeah.
They don't understand. Like they generalize, so they do exactly what they don't want done to them. They go, all of you lot are dickheads. Yeah, you're all dickheads. But, when you're talking about us, we're not all dickheads. We're individuals. Just like, so are police officers too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, there are a bunch of dicks in the police. They're terrible people, racists, rapists, murderers. Like, we know this. This is a fact. Yeah. Those individuals are like that. Not the organization. People are like, oh, it's institutionally racist. To an extent, yes, but that does not mean everyone is racist there. So people should take them on how we treat them individually. Do you get what I'm saying? And people, society really, it stresses me out, bro.
Yeah.
It does. And when you see those people banging on the drums or banging on the side, shouting in your face, I have people shout in my face saying, "You're terrible. How can you do this job?" I'm like, because I want to protect you. How else can I explain this to you? I want to protect you. Well, you're not protecting me. I am right now because that guy over there wants to fuck you up.
Yeah.
So, and I'm stopping him. Like when no one talks about the times where there's loads of police stopping people with the EDL when they have their marches, and all of the Met comes out to defend like the Asian community, the black community, go into East London and be like, well, actually. The EDL get treated like absolute crap. They're terrible people, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's disproportionate. I say this all the time. They get treated really badly. And every other protest is like, oh, yeah, don't worry. We'll be nice to them. I'm like, no, treat them the same as the EDL.
So even like Black Lives Matter, are you a little bit like... Because I found when I went on it, like there's an incident at the end of the day where we were in Parliament Square and I
Never
was...
a good place to be.
Yeah, I was there with then at the time, and I did see like someone graffitied a war memorial, and I was like, I'm not Mr. St. George and all of that, but I'm like, well,
You filmed him, right?
That's no, I'm just I'm writing
You
to the
can't be
council about
doing
this. So, but I was like, my only thing was, you're just gonna piss people off with that. You're not gonna win anyone over. You're not. This is what I say, like, again, arguments with people. It's like, if you're in a minority, which you could say, I guess, like at that time, it looked like Black Lives Matter was, you have to set an example at a point so the majority, because when those football hooligans came down, like the Football Lads Alliance, and defended statues, EDL, they showed themselves for what they were. It was about defending statues, and then one of them pissed on a memorial of a police officer.
Didn't they do the cenotaph? Didn't they do some crazy... Didn't they cenotaph? Didn't they do something?
They tend to do stuff to the cenotaph, but also the thing that you're discussing actually happened is someone urinated on the memorial of Keith Palmer.
Oh, he was the first one to get like, like, dude, the joke is he probably doesn't even know who Keith Palmer is.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the F, bro?
Right, but that's also the thing, is there's a point where Keith Palmer died during a terrorist attack defending
Pastor Westminster.
Yeah. So but that then became a week where the police are suddenly heroes. Do you know what I mean? Because then it's like, you see what's on the line, you see these things. So we go through these stages where, and it happens, I think, with every job, where like nurses during lockdown, you're heroes. Can we have a pay rise and the NHS is failing?
Hell no.
Shut up, nurses. You bang on too much. The NHS is shit. Why? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was
Dude,
gonna
it swings for us. So
Pick up on you, because you said, obviously, like, all protests should be treated equally in terms of how police sort of... but do you not think, like, the police... They have to think about the optics always.
Yeah,
you know
they
what I mean?
assess stuff.
Right.
And I don't think the optics, it should be across the board. Do you get what I'm saying? If you're seen to treat... I am a fan of fairness. That's across the board. Just because the extreme right are generally, everyone hates them, it's like, oh yeah, we'll smash them up, innit? But the extreme lefties, it's like, oh yeah, well no, they're just gonna sit there and do nothing. No, I'm not saying to smash them up. I'm saying treat everyone fair.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because I've seen some of the left do some crazy stuff, and it's like, but the optics won't look good for the Metropolitan Police. I'm like, no, drag them down, drag them into the crowd, stop them committing that offence, because it's an offence. That's what we're here to do.
Because me and Elliot referenced this earlier in a later point to do with American police, in terms of there is a conception that so the white person shoots up school and then they sort of take them out like calmly, and then people are looking at that like, wait, this guy got Burger King and he shot 9 black people, and then black people seem to get shot and killed for sort of misdemeanors. And like, maybe that's not always the case. Elliot was saying it's not always looking like that, but then the optics goes out on social media, and then that's the perception that runs wild and in people's head. So do you think there's like, you have to look at the optics of how certain things are going to be seen because of the way they can be twisted, especially on social media?
I think the Metropolitan Police they have their own social media, and that's what they should be releasing to fix the optics. Because what happens is media skews stuff. They look at what's going to sell. That's what they care about. And then you've got social media, the people that will just comment just for commenting. And society is putting such a massive pressure on the Metropolitan Police to make the right call and to do the right thing, when they're not. They're doing what they want, society wants.
Yes.
I don't know. society don't know. Like,
Yeah.
they don't know nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you can go in the pages, the
Yeah.
shade bar, all those pages, and you see people literally suggesting things that
Yeah.
are the dumbest things in the world, and
Yeah.
like 1,500 likes.
This is true because I like to think of myself as educated and nuanced. But if I see something and it's got 25,000 retweets, I'm like, oh, there must be something right.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's just it's so. Mia calls it the toilet of society, innit? The internet. It's a terrible place.
It's designed to be like that as well. That's what people have to remember. Like the internet thrives on. It's designed by nerds in Silicon Valley who are gonna kill us all. Like that. It is. You know, we have to engage with it in our job, and there's things within our job like so. What you're touching on the extreme left there. I grew up in a very, my parents are socialists, working class people, like miners' strike, things like that. And it's very funny because my dad is someone who is, you know, was part of the anti-Nazi League, has been in fights with fascists on the streets. And that's why when people were talking about going up and fighting the Football Lads Alliance and things like that, my dad was like, they'll fuck you up, bro. My dad's like, don't fight, you know, these people are like, people tweet stuff like punch a Nazi and you go, and they'll punch back. And
Yeah.
what are you going to do? But there's this thing that's happened on, just want to bring this up because it annoyed me yesterday, where Theresa May turned up to vote, put a vote of no confidence against Boris Johnson in a ball gown. And I saw some of my like liberal Twitter, privately educated colleagues start tweeting, yeah, slay queen. And it's like, she was behind Grenfell. She went to Grenfell and used it as a photo op and didn't meet anyone. She employed vans to drive around the capital of the UK with anti-immigration
We're
slogans.
watching you and all that stuff.
Yeah, we're watching you go back home, do all of this stuff. She's an enemy of the working class, but because this stuff doesn't affect these people who are my colleagues, they then see that and they try to give her this yesification. And we've got to stop. I think it's our job in the arts at the minute to stop people coming and buying their way into the arts and putting themselves in a position where they can then start tweeting stuff like they're liberal and using social media this way. Like these people being in charge of the arts is like me being in charge of Black Lives Matter. Like I shouldn't. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, it's like I come in and lie my way about it, and then I start going, oh yeah, but Slay King Derek Chauvin because he once wore a Biggie Smalls jumper, without understanding any of the history behind it.
Yeah.
And we've got to do something like about it on social media, because that then comes the expression of the left. That then comes what people go, other comedian friends of mine who are right-wing or other right-wing people are able to grab that and go, see, this is what leftism is. It's just this performative thing like that. And I think social media, I'll bring it back to your Jordan say, but like amplifies these things where they allow people to essentially, it's created to cause divide on exact issues like that.
Super divisive.
Oh, and also we are part of the divide, 100%. Like I will, if making the world a worse place will sell tickets, I will.
Money's money, bro.
I think the most concerning thing.
I pretend to be Jewish every week on this podcast to get out of stuff. God knows what I'm prepared to do.
In 2 weeks' time, you will be a rabbi.
Rabbi Elliot.
Well, I think the thing about social media, especially, is people will say something really inflammatory, like "Let's do this, let's kill," and then they'll wipe their hands off it and move on to the next thing, and then, oh, that happened. You know what I mean? But there's like this real world consequences to you saying "kill police" or do you know what I mean? And then they just move on to the next issue, whatever. Do you know what I mean?
I had to explain that to someone at work. I'm not going to name them. But they want, they like, oh no, it's freedom of speech. I should be able to say what I want. I'm like, yeah, but you want freedom of accountability.
Yes.
You don't want to get punched in the face. I'm like, bro, you'll get punched I'm like, listen, I'm open to talking about anything, racism, anything, and I'll let you say your view. But the minute you cross that line, you get punched in the face. But you don't want to get punched in the face. And that's why I had to explain to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, but that's freedom of speech. I'm like, no, bro. No.
Yeah.
Accountability. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's consequences to your actions.
Freedom of
Yeah.
speech doesn't mean,
So-
freedom of.
freedom of, exactly. And
Still
freedom of
got to be
consequence.
civility.
Yeah.
There's still got to be a level of civility in discourse. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I have this where people get fired from a job. Sometimes I do think like someone turns up and says something where they might be, and you brought it up on the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where you talk about a lot of the time it's not racism, it's ignorance. It's a lot of the time it's somebody turns up, and I think that about just to bring it to what I feel it with, I feel it a lot with people who move to London as it gets gentrified, white people who have not grown up around black people or Asian people move to London. I feel they think they have to go a little bit harder.
Allyship. Everyone wants to be
And all this,
ally.
they, you know, I've been at things where and you're like, and they're saying, oh well, you know, because your comedy, I've had my comedy accused of being racist, homophobic, and transphobic, and you know what, it might be.
The jury's still out. The jury's still out.
But it's like they say all of this while when I go to their parties, I don't see any black people, I don't see any Asian people.
I say this all the time. I'm like, it's all fake.
Yeah,
It's all fake. And I said it when I went to Chizzo and Gabriel's podcast. I said it's all like people do like the black square. It was 2 years for George Floyd. I didn't see anything. Do you get what I'm saying? Nothing. The Met not celebrated, but the Met obviously showed like respect in that. And there were some places, but no one cared.
Yeah.
So when people were like, oh yeah, I had people saying to me, why haven't you got a black square? Why aren't you representing black? I'm like, bro, I'm out here saving your life.
Yeah.
I ain't got time about a black square.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, by next week, you're going to forget about this. I won't. I live this.
Right,
And
yeah.
I've got black people telling me that. And I'm like, I had a full-on argument with someone saying, oh, you need to support black people more. Da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I have a podcast to which I'm highlighting issues. And I'm coming out and saying the Met is
You're
racist.
in the community.
Yeah, I'm here and I'm saying against your oppressors, they're racist. What are you gonna do? And no one's gonna help me.
Yeah.
These people putting black squares aren't out. They're not backing me. They're right here trying to tear me down. And I'm like,
Yeah.
don't you think there's an issue here?
Yeah.
Do you feel that sometimes, I'm going to ask this question as well, because this might be an inflammatory question. Do you feel that sometimes people like to use race or something like that as an excuse for the reason why they might not, they'll go, oh, well, it's because there's an oppressor, this, that, and the other, so I have to take a lack of accountability for my position in life?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, we were raised, the black community is raised on, you have to work 10 times harder. And some people take that and they move forward with it and they go, okay, cool, I'm going to have to grind harder, no problem. A lot of people go, well, I have to work harder, it's not fair, let me just cry about it.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying? So it's an easy out for a lot of people. They're like, oh, but it's not fair. And they argue that point. They're like, yeah, but we get stopped and searched like 8 times more. It's not fair. So there's no point in trying to fix it. I'm like, no, that's literally the point in trying to fix it. Like, come on, use your brain. And they're like, it's never going to change. I'm like, the only way it's going to change is if we make it change. And people are like, oh, no, well, you're never going to fix it. And then they proceed to tear me down.
Do you understand the apathy? Would you call it apathy in sort of certain sections of the black community towards, like, I guess, the police and these sort of concept? Do you understand it, or do you just like, fuck that, man, let's work, let's get to work?
It's 50-50. So when I was younger, I was just like, F the police.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? I was legit like F the police. I've seen some stuff that the police have done. I still see it now. But as I've grown older, I'm wiser. So I understand that me having that mentality is not going to fix anything.
Yeah.
We're going to continue perpetuating the same circles, same cycles. Nothing will ever get fixed. And do you know what I'm saying? So I have to take a different stance and be more mature about it and be like, okay, cool, I understand all this stuff's happened. Bear in mind, my background is my mum was from Windrush. Do you know what I'm saying? She's come across and she's had to grind. Like, she's told stories about her going to work and people spitting on her. So let's put that into context. Like, for me, is my life difficult? Is it hard? Do I have to go somewhere and the police are spitting on me, beating me up? Not really. So let's put it into context. It was difficult. It's still hard, but we need to make progress. And the only way to make progress is come sit down at the table and be like, look, how do we fix this? How are you going to help us? And black community should do it ourselves.
Yeah.
We should fix it.
Yeah.
There's bare people out here sitting there like, oh no, but the government needs to help. No, they don't. The government's not here to help us.
Especially
They're
like,
not here to help us. They're not. Let's just be real. They're here to sit down and go, okay, these guys need a little bit, they're doing all of this. They need a little nudge. Do you get me? Don't rely on the government to help us. Don't rely on the police like necessarily to help us. Our communities can look after ourselves. And the police should come in and be like, okay, cool, you need a little helping hand, blah, 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 we'll do that. But like, for some reason, like a lot of the black community is like, oh, well, they're not doing enough. There's people committing suicide and what are the police doing about it? It's like, bro, like, that's not their job.
that's a
Like,
community job.
There's also
I'm saying.
there is a thing as well where I think like it all bleeds into the same thing, and where when you have services cut, you have things like the mental health service that is so cut below that I get really pissed off with people. So I've got ADHD, things like that. I don't go on the meds for it, whatever, but I have people who have a mild bit of depression. and they demand things on the NHS. And it's like, all right, the reason there's someone drinking White Ace at 7 a.m. screaming at a lamppost is because the NHS is clogged up, the mental health service is clogged up with people who maybe should stop doing coke on the weekend and see how that works first for their dopamine and serotonin levels. And then if it still progresses with depression, go, oh, I've clearly got a problem and stuff. But I think people use systems, like you're saying, people use the government and use a system as whenever. Like, I'm sure, have you ever been on the end of a ridiculous 909 call where someone's like, oh, I
Said
can't.
dick, and I was just like, bro. Bro, where are we going? Like, what
No,
the
I
hell?
said ridiculous.
Jeez. What the hell? I was like, that went, okay.
Now we're on the Patreon bit of the point. We want to ask the real. No. So when it's have you ever been on the end of a call where you're like, why the fuck am I here?
All the time.
Right.
I'm like, okay, is it really necessary for the police to be here for this? Yes, because you must do something about it. I'm like, have you tried talking to them?
Yeah. So you're on the beat regularly, like.
Me, no, that was back. No, can't do that.
Yeah.
It's not beneath me or anything. It's just way too much work, man.
Yeah.
So you're
a lot of paperwork.
A lot of paperwork. The Met systems, they're revamping them now, but they were like archaic. They were terrible. I used to sit, you're gonna trigger me. A database, they don't use databases efficiently in the Metropolitan Police. And I'm an IT nerd, and I did multimedia computing, and I'm just like, they're holding information in like Excel spreadsheets. I'm like, that's not what it's for. I'm like, I get so angry. I'm just like, no. But yeah, the Met is a lot of paperwork because you have to repeat a lot of information.
Oh wow.
So it's just like, and if you come into contact with kids, you may have to do different like forms because for social, it goes off the social services and all that. Sorry, I'm getting a
No.
Nah,
Do you have a suspicion that, like, because you're putting in all this paper, that they're not actually reading it? It's just there for when they need to read it.
What do you mean?
You know, when you're writing something up, you're like, is someone actually going to check over this? And
No, people check it.
Oh, really?
They're like, literally, it's some people. There's a group of people who's their job who read over your crime reports and tell you how crap it is, and then they begin to like destroy you and be like, well, this is wrong, and God forbid it has to go to like CID. The detectives are just like, this is like, what is it? Go back and do this, and this. And when you go on probation, and my friend's going through it now, it's hilarious. And he'll ring me and be like, oh my gosh, the detective told me to do this, and I did this rubbish, and he just destroyed me. I was like, bro, let's be honest, that's his job. He just can't be bothered to do it. So if you do it, if you made a couple mistakes in the beginning, screw them, buddy. Just send it over to him. He has to do it anyway. Just make him do a little bit more work, like.
Something I wanted to bring up as well, because in that interview you did with a commissioner, you're talking about the retention rate of like black officers. So like a lot of black officers might join like you. I want to make a change. I want to actually do stuff. What would you? I don't know the numbers of what that you saying is quite bad of black officers like
So in
falling
the first
out.
3 years, off the top of my head, I think it was like 255 left since 2016 to now. 255. Bear in mind, we have about 1,300 black officers in the Met.
Wow.
So 255 is a lot.
Yeah.
So and they're all spread across the Metropolitan. How many boroughs do we have? Is it 13?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so 13 of them, and that means what, like 100 each? But that's not how it's spread. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There will be, most of them will be on frontline policing, and they may be in a specific borough because, like, Westminster has the most police officers. It's got like 1,000, just over 1,000 or something like that.
You should be chilling.
Yeah,
You
like
just see them. Yeah.
yeah, Westminster's like, it's huge.
Yeah.
Westminster's a big, like, it's not a problem. It's just the way that they revamp things, and you get like all these new people coming in and saying, no, you need to fix it this way. And it's like, no, Westminster's a beast of its own, because you've got like Trafalgar Square, the West End. Then you've got the North, where like all the gang warfare is going on in up like Kilburn and all that area. Then you got South, where it's like the Lambeth are coming across to Pimlico, like these nice areas where there's like gangs, and then they actually really meet gang members. They're like, oh, boom, like, is this what this life is about?
Terrence and his mate who've been like selling a bit of weed.
They're there, like selling there. And I used to work on the South in the gangs unit on the South, and everyone's like, oh, the gangs don't have the South doesn't have any gangs. They did, but the real issue is Lambeth coming across, because they're like, they come across the bridge and they're like, there's loads of crackheads here. and there's no one here to stop us. Bingo. And they don't realize the reason there's no one there to stop us because our team is made up of like these huge man mountain black guys and a few white guys, and we absolutely destroy anyone that comes.
Yeah.
And then they go, yeah, we're never coming back.
Yeah.
We just tell them straight. I'll see them. There's been times that I've stopped guys and I've just been like, I know what you're doing, bro. I know what you're doing. This is your official warning. I've caught you. I've taken him out. He's screamed on the floor. He's cried. I've picked him back up, dusted him off and been like, look, bro, I'm going to give you some advice. I don't want to see you here anymore because I know you're selling drugs. You ain't got it now. I know you are.
Yeah.
The next time, you're going to go down for like 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't want that for you. So go back to Lambeth. I know you're from Lambeth. Go back. Stay there. Don't come here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that I used to really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Because you get to actually, you get to roll around, but you get to actually make a visible difference.
And it's that real talk that gets through to people.
Yeah. And it's funny because touch wood, I haven't had a complaint. I shouldn't. I've left there now, but for the way that I handle people. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of police officers get a lot of complaints for like, oh, excessive force. I'm like, bro, like if you see some of the force that I've used, not boasting about it, it's because they may have a gun or a knife. So I'm not taking any risks. You know what I'm saying? So you have to use a certain level of force, like take a guy down and all that. And after, we're friends.
It's an odd one, that, isn't it? Because that's a thing where like you see people. I was talking to Aaron McCann about this the other day about when people are like, I know my rights. And it's like, no, you don't. The police know their rights more than you.
I know my powers more than you. Yeah. Like people like, no, you can't do that. And I'm like, you want a bit?
Have you seen that video on TikTok? The kid's like, get his soldier number. The guy's like, soldier number?
It's funny when, I think it's funny because when someone like on a ticket inspector on a train or someone like that, if you know like a little train bylaw or something like that, or a company law or something with that, where you're able to then say something to them where it's like, because they're not, their power is they just call the police, like essentially is what their power is.
People come along.
Yeah, I've had they're the fucking, I don't know how you feel about British Transport Police, but they're the.
I mean, I've never had like a bad. Actually, that's a lie. I'm gonna take that back. So basically, the way the BTP works, they deal with anything that happens on the train lines, blah 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 blah.
They got a whole file on me, bro.
If they take one step like out of Victoria Station or like off the platform, they're like, "Oh yeah, Met, please come along. You got to deal with this. This guy's committed this offence. You guys can deal with it." And we're like, "Wait, whoa. Where did the offence happen? Because if it's happened on like the train station, that's yours." And they'll be like, "No, he's walked out now. So you guys."
I'm like, telling the guy, like, hold on, mate.
Nah, bro.
Now kick off.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, whoa. What? And what made it worse is I was based in Belgravia Station, which is literally on the same road as Victoria Station. So we would get those calls and everyone would be like, giving them side eyes like, screw you, buddy. What, you trying to give us work? These drunk guys come out. Like, yeah, he's sexually assaulted someone. He's also beating someone up. And you're like, oh, God damn, the offences are just racking up. And you're
he
like,
did all that on the platform.
It's crazy. And BTP are known to let, I get it. If I was there, I'd call them up too. They've got more officers, so it makes sense.
I love that regardless of, I love human beings for this, regardless of whatever our job is, we're going to find a way to make someone else do it. Even if someone, you find it in comedy, you have a thing where like the MC, right, the guy who's like hosting the night, if you're doing some like out of town gig or sorry, say you want to get back a bit earlier, you'll go to the person closing, you'll be like, so I don't have to stay and watch your whole 30-minute set, yeah? So I might go, hey, do you mind telling them there's another comedy night on in a month here, and then I can just shoot off so I don't have to come back on and go, thank you, that's Michael. And that's like a thing we do. Yeah. We just fuck off and can do the best. The way anyone can do the bare minimum on their job, they're going to do.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, but to get back to us, because I was talking about the black retention rate. I forgot myself. So why? What? Obviously, there must be multiple reasons. What would you say?
Racism.
Well,
there you go. I just
that's done. Yeah,
the Metropolitan Police. Like, if you've seen my podcast, just plugging that again. I speak to Paul Wilson. Paul Wilson. I always worry about getting his name right. Great man. This guy's so knowledgeable. He was policing in the 80s, 90s, and he had a lot of work with the Stephen Lawrence trial, and he gave evidence for it and stuff like that. And what he was saying is there's like it's institutionally racist, and it's also there's a what's the word that he uses? It's not the insidious racism. Well, that is also there, but it's like people just gravitate together, and we all do the same thing because we're in a group. There's a word for it. I can't think.
Group mentality.
Don't worry. Yeah. But there's a mentality within the police which you want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And what happens is you get alienated really quickly if you don't indoctrinate yourself to that.
Right.
So like me, I'm lucky. I'm 6'4" black guy that's confident within himself. I can fight people. But in my first 2 years, regardless of all those things, I was still like, crap, where am I?
Yeah.
I need to be cool with this guy. That's my sergeant. I need to be nice to him. I don't want anyone to shout at me. I want to be good at my work. I want to do all of this. And you get snowed under, and you may find yourself doing stuff that you inherently you don't agree with. But you're like, I also need to do my job, and this feels like the part of my job that I should be doing. And only after those 2 years, the officers that make it out of those 2 years, they sort of, it's like, wait, that was wrong. Like, dude, what the hell? Like, what the hell was I thinking?
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, they only make it to 3 years. The retention rate is black officers make it to 3 years and think this isn't for me. But the reason for that, probation is 2 years. Then they have that 1 year out, and then they realize to themselves, wait a second, this is all, I can't be a part of this.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Right.
Like, someone was racist to me. Like, I said this on my podcast. I say, listen, real story. A police officer changed the price of a Jaffa cakes or biscuits in like a Sainsbury's or something from like 99p to like reduced to 10p. He got caught because of CCTV and he's dumb. And then he got fired because fraud, and you can't be committing offence like that because what's the word that we use? Yes, your integrity. You no longer have integrity, so you can't be
You
part
can
of the
do that.
police.
You can
Yeah,
fudge a report.
What else are you gonna do?
89p. Like, what the fuck?
No, but it's like it could snowball. Oh, I can do this.
Exactly.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So, like,
I know, but I'm just thinking for him, like,
yeah, you
it's
got
89.
that story you're gonna tell your friends. Like, why'd you get fired? Like, well,
Go out in a blaze of glory.
Exactly. You gotta go ham. Like, you really got like literally. I broke into the National Reserve. Like, I was stealing all this money. You don't go for a trafficking. And then I said, but so the 89p, he got fired, just dismissed. Like, go away, we don't want you. Then you've got officer that will racially abuse another officer. Literally, if I turn off the lights, will I still see you? Why are you talking? Yeah. Anywhere else, you're getting knocked out for that.
Yeah.
Inside the police station, this happened to me in my first 2 years. I reported that. They did their full investigation. This guy got a final written warning. He also got promoted.
Fuck it.
Yeah. This guy is still in the job right now. So when I tell that story, the commissioner knows about this. I've told him so many times to him, and he's just like, he knows it's wrong. He doesn't bite it off. He's just like, that's messed up. We need to fix it. Blah 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 blah. So shout out him. But at the same time, that is the reason. That right there, it sort of explains why black people don't want to be part of the police. Because like, well, you're not gonna fire them for racism, but you're gonna fire them for a Jaffa cake. I ain't worth a Jaffa cake. What's going on here?
Yeah.
You get me?
And even if like you do like, say you're a black officer, you want to just keep your head down, just get over it and stay on the job, and you do, or you want to call something out, do you really want to go through that thing of being a whistleblower? And then, do you know what I mean?
I've been under investigation so many times, I've lost count.
Really?
I know the people that investigate me. Like, like they got the DPS. Can't remember what it stands for. They're the ones that investigate officers. They're police officers investigating other. That's their sole job.
Or that line of duty thing.
Yeah. And then you've got like line of duty was alright. It was cool.
I didn't like it. I think it's.
It was okay. It was fun.
Yeah.
And then you got the professional standard units, which is like the lower level. They deal with anything where you're not going to get fired, but you've done. It's misconduct nonetheless. DPS only do stuff that's fireable. The PSU do stuff that's non-fireable but still serious. I know, like, the PSU, those guys, they come to me on a regular basis. Like, I changed commands. I'm in firearms now. The first day, first or second day, the inspector came to me and said, yeah, you've had another complaint because you said the N-words on your Twitter in, like, 2010.
Fucking hell.
And bear in mind, I didn't say the N-word, I said Nucca, and it was written on Twitter. And I deliberately did that. And I was paraphrasing like Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can see it's been retweeted, and it's like, and they're like, yeah, we know because this has happened before, Dom, blah, 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 blah. Like, thank God this time it didn't go any further than them saying you've been reported again. But there was actively people trying to tear me down.
Yeah.
And these are police officers
the
too.
police, inside the police force.
Yeah, bro.
Fucking
me
hell.
being like, people don't understand the seriousness of me being here and being in front of a camera.
Really?
There are racist people in the Met that do not like black people speaking. They think I'm like, how dare I speak? Who you're here, be happy.
Right.
It's like, nah, bro. Like
that in itself is an old British way of thinking in a sense of like, the thing that comes with, I suppose, like bits of England and things like that. Is like, well, what are you complaining for? Everything's
Know your
fine now.
place.
Yes,
Right.
there is a lot. There is a lot of that. I think within British politics and things that I have. I'd give away too much saying that. Things that I've heard about the upper echelons of British society through people who are.
You talking about some Illuminati shit? We going with this?
Yeah, like no, I'm not trying to be conspiracy theorist. I have friends who are.
Cool, I'm a flat earther.
Yeah. I have friends or people that I've known who worked like quite high up within what you'd consider the establishment of Britain, who have reported. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, basically, I have mates in comedy who have family members and things like that high up who have told me stories about the way, so basically how old 70 or 80-year-olds think. And it's like, one, it's not surprising because they're old 70 and 80-year-olds, and you know, I'm not trying to excuse thinking that, but I do think they've lived too long. It's hard to learn things past a certain age. So I think when you try to tell certain people that you've got to be aware of that they'll be dead soon. It doesn't matter. But at the same time, there is a thing. What I'm saying is that you see that in the force, and you see that with things like the one person I knew who joined the police force from a cricket team I used to play for was a lad who had a bit of an issue that there was quite a few Asians in the cricket club. Surprise, surprise. Cricket attracts Asians who would have.
They're really good at it.
And they were.
And whose fault is that? Is England?
To be fair, he was being put too far down the batting order. I'm not saying his racism was justified, but he should have been in at number 3.
He had grapes.
But he then, funny story. One night, me and my mates got hammered, and we like started running around a bit of a South Bank. We shouldn't have been climbed over a fence, got in. And cop car turned up, and we were like, oh, we fucked up. This was like when I'm 19, 20. And it was sort of went out, we all went to apologise, and he was like, Elliot. I was like, yeah. And he just gave me a like, yeah, stop making me do my job, kind of. Like he was so pissed off. He was on this call at like 1 in the morning. He was like, right, go home. But he's someone that when I found out, and he was a nice guy, but when I found out he was joining the police, I did think, oh, maybe you shouldn't be a police officer. Maybe you should do, I don't know, there's another thing for you to do, like other than have power over people, essentially.
Yeah.
And just before we continue this, because I do want to, we've got some questions from you. We're gonna move over to the Patreon now.
Let's go.
Just so I can, do you have anything to plug, Mike?
No.
No, of course not. Do you want to get your plugs in for your podcast?
Just not at the moment.
The Good, the Bad, the Ugly podcast. Check it out.
It's really good, man. Like, I'm a really
Thank
big
you.
fan of it, and we'll continue promoting this podcast. And
Super informative.
and again, that interview you did with the acting,
So he's the commissioner,
Yeah.
but he's the acting commissioner because he's also the deputy commissioner.
right?
So
Retiring
right
next
now,
year.
yeah, he's retiring. Yeah, is it next year? Maybe even this year. He might retire. I don't know when, but he's retiring.
39 years in the game. He should have gone to 40. Why not? For symmetry.
I'll tell him that. you can tell him that.
Tell him.
You can tell him that next time.
So yeah, I'll be at the Comedy Store at the end of this month if anyone wants to come down and show some love. And if you want to sign up to the Patreon, please do, because I've got some questions from Instagram to ask you, Dom, from my white Insta audiences. Like, why do you hate black people?
Why do I hate black people?
That's what my Insta, what kind of minorities? So that's the last time I ever asked people on Instagram to come up with content for this fucking podcast. But yeah, we're going to switch over to Patreon now. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the stuff, share it and that. This has been Btec Philosophers. We're on a Patreon. Let's get real.
Let's go.
No, so as I was saying, that person that I knew there, I was like, you shouldn't. It is worrying that you've become a police officer. And do you think there's a thing where something like policing attracts somebody like that?
1,000,000%.
Right.
Everyone loves power.
Yeah.
Gosh.
It corrupts us. Like,
Or do you
You've
think
been
power
bullied in
attracts-
school, and then now you get to be in charge of the law.
You'll see, dude. You will see legit that's the same, and it's laughable. But the reality is, it's very, very true. You'll see people that had no power, and then now they're given like a gun. Now they're given like permission to beat people because
What do you think
the
that's,
law.
that's what like Wayne Cousins was, or someone like that was?
Bro,
that,
I can't even comment about that one.
Right. Sorry. Yeah.
Nah, it's cool, but obviously you can ask the question.
Yeah.
But that's something. Although it's finished,
Yeah.
it's sensitive. because of obviously what I do. So I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
But it's there, and it's for all to see. Like just mention.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
for
so I'm not
all
trying to get you in
see.
trouble.
No,
I was just trying to say,
no. Yeah.
Just because it's Patreon, Elliot. People can still hear this.
But what I mean is like, do you think there's a thing where power corrupts or power attracts the corruptible?
Now, this is the philosophy. It's taking us an hour and 5 minutes, but we just got into the
I think maybe
philosophy.
both.
Right.
Both. Because you'll see people that you would consider like normal, you know, they're cool people, and then you'll see them change when it's time for them to be a sergeant. It's like, that guy was cool, now he's a sergeant, he's a dick. And you're like, what the hell was that about? It's now because he's got power, he can tell you what to do.
Or like, is it also they got choices to make, or multiple choices maybe you don't know about as well, and then it just the way it weighs on the human mind, it makes them...
I got friends that are sergeants. I know sergeants. They ain't got. They're yes, me. I see you leaning out. Me as a sergeant as well.
Right.
But I see like, I know most of the decision making. They have to make decisions, but the decisions don't mean you have to be a dick about it while you're doing it. You can still say please and thank you.
Well, that's
Is it that...
Oh, sorry.
No, I guess I'm more in the philosophy angle of just anybody in power, not just police, but obviously...
Who really, like, think about it deep. Who really wants to have power over people? What kind of people do? Alexander the Great, just go across the world and just take everything? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, that's someone who has a fear of death, I guess, and like the idea that they, we're all going to die, so they want to be immortalized in some way that they've committed
I
some
feel
great
like
feat.
there's a lot of people that are just like, do you know what? I'm kind of insignificant, and let me give my life some significance, and let me do this, and let me say that, oh, I was a inspector and I did this and did that. I ain't a police officer to say all this stuff that I did. Like, I just want to help people. That's it. And the path that I have to go down or whatever to get there, it may make me an inspector or chief superintendent or whatever, or a commissioner. That's not me is the reason that I'm doing all like a lot of this stuff. I'd rather just chill and like talk to people, but I understand I have responsibilities, and that may entail me being a sergeant or a commissioner and dishing out responsibilities, but it's never because, oh, I want to be a commissioner. Who the hell wakes up and says, I want to be the commissioner of the police? Like, why?
Me, bro.
No, you don't even know what the role is.
Me,
like,
me.
You don't know what the guy does, but you want to do it. Like, that makes no sense.
People like titles. We see it in, I guess, like, to very, very, whenever I speak about comedy on this podcast, it's not me trying to make it about myself. It's just I try to speak through what I know in the lens that I see live. You see that sort of in our job with the way that people, ego comes into it. Like, I know comedians who get pissed off when they're not the headliner. You'll be on the same fee, the same money, but they'll want to close the gig just to have something. I was the closer. I was the headliner. And
Ego is the enemy.
To be real, I've been that guy. Like, I've totally...
What a twist in the story. I was like, what?
No, for that one, Gary. It was me.
Yeah. I don't even know if anyone else has
Elliot
done
went to theatre school. I can tell.
Come, Mike, you've never done that.
What?
You've never... I got pissed off when I wasn't closing the gig you were running at one point.
I'm so happy to go first and go home. If they tell me, Michael, do less time, do 15 minutes, go on for it. Like, yeah, of course.
Michael turns down gigs, that I go to him. That is exactly the level you are at. Of turning that down. Like, Michael will turn things down. Like, no, I can't be doing that. I'm like, that's exactly where where everyone sees you.
That's what I do for the black comic community. I turn down gigs. Someone else. My job.
But yeah, so sorry, I interrupt what you were saying, Mike.
No, I guess it's like, what was I even saying? About ego being the enemy, and I think it's like, well, you got those kids at Eton. Do you know what I mean? Probably Boris Johnson from the age of 10, 11, he was like, I'm going to be the prime minister one day. Before he even thought about prime minister being about helping people and whatnot, it was just about, it's drilled into their heads, power.
That's again, man, it comes to, like, I always say this, like, one of the biggest problems in this country is the private education system. Like, you have people who are taken to a school.
I went private school.
Did you?
I also went private school.
How did you find it?
I went for 2 years.
How did you guys find it?
Private school is amazing.
Really?
Because I went to both. People. I got to go.
Same here.
So yeah, I got to go up until I can't remember what year, but I went to private school, and it's great, and I think everyone should go. Did
you have a? That's quite a privileged thing to say. And did you also have a thing of? Did you have to go to a boarding private school?
No, my sister went to a boarding private school.
Right. How did she find that?
She probably hated it.
Right. Because I know, like, I've got friends who went to. Like, again, I was saying about a friend of mine who's in the upper bit of society did a show about like, and he's told me some of the things from when he went to boarding private school, and they literally have these things where they take the boys and take the girls from the school 40 miles away, and they take them to a dance and put them together, and they'll be like 15, 16, and be like, you guys need to get each other's numbers and hook up because we want to keep it in the bloodline. You can't be going around meeting people from the town, meeting people who are, and that creates a level of thinking
With the riffraff.
And these are the people that you find, you know, who then go to Oxford and go to Cambridge and then end up in power, and they're then in a position of power, and they have that level of thinking that's put into them from a kid, which I think is one of the reasons why you can see people be not empathetic towards the cost of living going up or people's living situations.
You know, it's crazy. Talking about that, like, Mia gets really angry with me when I play SimCity because I always tax, like, I tax the poor people the most because I'm like, there's loads of them. We need to tax them. And she gets so angry with me. She's like, don't. I'm like, it's just a game. It's like, babe, I get it. I'm like, babes, I have to tax them because there's more of them and I need money. I need to build new schools.
I know exactly what you mean, because the minute I'm given something on a video game, kill them all, kill them, kill the protesters, make them suffer.
You ever take the ladder out the swimming pool and they just die after 8 hours because they can't get out? That's what I do in this.
Oh, well, it is, yeah, I think there's a thing about...
Can we just let that sink in for a second?
Do you know, I dropped that and after everyone's going to be like, yeah. Everyone was just silent. I was like, oh, okay, that's me. That's how I deal with it.
That's like when you say something you used to do in Grand Theft Auto, and then someone's like, yeah, I only used to kill the blonde women. Wait, whoa. Like they start giving some fantasy.
Yeah.
You know? No, but there's actually a really good thing, like things like Grand Theft Auto, because I think it gets bring back to a philosophy angle. I think that's capable within all of us. Within if you're put into a position of power or of something like that, it's very easy to suddenly go, well, I'm doing this for the good of the people, or I'm doing this.
I'm
for
so
the good.
glad you say capable of all of us, and you didn't say killing blonde women. Because I looked up for
No. And as well, but like even like within things, do you know what I mean? Like, and again, like it comes back to when you look at what, you know. Like, not even to start in the American political system, because that's a whole different thing. But within the British political system, within the way class is over here and things like that, we have let me find the words for it. We have a way of thinking, I think, over here where there's this thing within Britain where, well, I don't know how to describe it. It's like when you listen to a phone-in or a radio show, and there'll be a thing like, hey, we want to have raise the pension for teachers. That'll be really good. We can have teachers will then get a better pension. And someone will ring in, like Dave from Woking rings in. He's like, why should they have a fucking pension? I haven't got one. And he's like, we'll get to you. If you let other people have a thing, eventually it will get to you. And there's this way of thinking we have in British culture, and it's called crab theory, where if you put a load of crabs in a bucket, one crab will start to escape and the other crabs will pull them back in. It's like you could all help each other escape.
Nah,
I ain't gonna lie.
Staying down here with
It's
me.
a crab, innit? You don't know that crab's gonna come back for the others.
No, but they could all form. You never understand these. They could all form. They're crabs. They could. Oh shit! They could form some big link and help each other
Well,
out.
why didn't the crab discuss it before he went up?
They're crabs. They haven't got
just left.
communication within.
How do you know that? They talk.
They communicated enough to pull him back down. So why didn't they communicate enough to be like, hey, bro, I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna come back for you. He just left.
You know what's sad? That really happens in the Metropolitan Police. You know that?
Yeah.
What?
Within like the black police officers. I'm not even out here trying to just shit on them, but there's a few. You know, I'll say one, and they literally did that, and that was one of the things that sparked me into doing stuff, because they were like, they used a situation, George Floyd's death, I'll tell you that much, and they used it to get themselves promoted. They used it to go, you know what, I did this, here's some, you know, because you have to get evidence for the police.
Right.
So there's like a framework that you have to tick boxes to say, I did this, I did this, I did that, and that's why I should be promoted. And you have a board, it's really official. And people are out looking for evidence everywhere. Oh, how can I help this black guy?
Yeah.
Because that ticks the diversity box. Let me help this black guy. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and you've got a lot of people in positions that don't really care about what they're doing. Because in the Met, it's weird, they don't headhunt. it's the dumbest thing ever. They don't go, oh, do you know what, Michael, you're really, really good with, I don't know, talking to people. So you should be Safer Neighborhoods lead. You can be the commander of that because you care and you're talented at that. Nah, it's just like there's a position, who wants it? It's like, oh, commander, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, like literally.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's how it
I
works.
thought they would headhunt.
No, bro. Like, anyone can get promoted. I don't need to be special to be like tomorrow I could be like, I want to be a sergeant, do the exam, pass the exam, do the board, pass the board. Now I'm a sergeant somewhere that I have no idea about. Like, I could be a sergeant of, I don't know, frontline policing. I could have been I could have never stopped and searched a person in my life. And now I'm a sergeant on a team in which I need to direct people on how to interact with others and how to like be robust. And I've never left the office in my life. There's people like that. It's absolutely mental. And there'll be a sergeant on like protests, and they would have never had a fight in their life. They don't know how to manage, and they're like managing like 6 or 7 officers and saying, oh, you guys need to do this and that. I'm like, dude, it's like having a white belt teach a class.
Right, yeah.
And everyone else is like a black belt.
Oh, believe me, white belts would be really happy. If you ever find in martial arts, the person who's going to be giving most advice to anyone is the person who started 2 weeks ago.
So do you know that thing we was saying about people getting in position of power and being dicks? Do you think there's a lot of unqualified people who are like, they're putting on I'm going to be the authoritative guy because I think that's what I need to be, instead of having...
You know what? Let me expand on that. In the Met, we are police officers and we're supposed to like protect people, right? And we're supposed to conflict manage, yeah? Risk assess, conflict management. A lot of these guys can't do that within the company, like inside the organization. So say you're a police officer, you're a sergeant or an inspector, and I've done something that you want to talk to me about. You could quite easily walk up to me like, Dom, you know what, that was wrong, you shouldn't have done that. There's some that are so scared for that conversation that you would go, okay, you're the chief inspector. Elliot, you need to speak to Dom because Dom did this and I don't know how to resolve it because basically I'm too scared because he may actually powerbomb me through this table. And you've got people in charge doing that are so scared of conflict that they will tell the next person to deal with it. And that's how people get investigated and get in trouble so much. And what's the number? Is it 8 times more likely? Or was it 80% of, so black and Asian officers or minority officers are like 8% more or 8 times more likely to be investigated. We make up like 6% of the Met. 6-7%, like 80%. Like you get found like you've done something wrong. An officer literally said to me, when I was having this conversation, he goes, well, maybe they did do all that stuff. I'm like, bro, we're getting found at a rate of 80% that we did something wrong. Are you saying that we're inherently bad people? We can't follow orders?
And it's that thing, right, where, especially I guess in the corporate world, or, you know, if you're a black man, especially a black woman, and you're just having a normal conversation with somebody, they're going to look at that, that's aggression.
Bro,
that's
black people
I feel threatened
used to not talk to each other. Like even now, it's slowly changing because like between me and my friend circle, my boys in the job, but you'll see another black guy and you would be reluctant to nod or even say hello because you don't want the white people to think they're staging
there
a
they
rebellion.
go. Yeah.
They're doing a rebellion. They're trying to take my job. Nah, we got to get rid of these two. Like literally, I had a friend, a team. We were on a team together, and maybe 5 or 6 other people. Yeah, I never worked with him on as a 2. We never went out together as a 2. Like. They're thinking about the optics. Oh, I can't have 2 black people together because people may think I'm racist. No, dumbass. Yeah. Put the black guys together to show you're not.
But that comes from a thing. I'm not trying to defend anyone. There's a thing with white people where we are terrified of being accused of racism. Like,
I know it's hilarious.
More than racism
so
itself.
No, yeah, we are because like as a white people, I steamroll my way through this. I should be more scared. I'm coming on in clay. 1 week I'll come on and be like, no, my granddad was black. It's fine. Don't look into it.
It's fine. It's fine.
But there is a thing with white people where it's, especially within like HR culture and things like that, and in offices where people were quite sensitive and stuff like that, there's a thing where I think people are afraid to ask questions because, as well, there is a history of things that have gone wrong that put people either on a front foot or a back foot or put people in positions where they're afraid to ask things because there needs to be a sort of like a reasonable.
Yeah.
We need to work out, you know, like what's an okay question to ask? Because there are things, you know, where if someone comes on and just starts grabbing somebody's hair and goes, "Oh my God, your hair's so different to mine," that's an invasive of personal space, and that's not okay to do.
I think we need to meet halfway. So what I say is, look, I'll be open to you. You say what you want to say. I'll tell you, you know, if you're coming from a place of you just want to be inquisitive and you really want to learn, you can pretty much get away with a lot of stuff with me. You can say your thoughts and I'll be like, all right, cool. I'll listen. I'll tell you it's wrong or it's right or it's inappropriate. And we can have a discussion because you want to learn. So for real learning to happen, you have to be free to say what you want to say and how you feel. So that's where the black community and the black people need to come in and go, do you know what? Let me just let this man speak. After I disagree, he'll listen to what I have to say, and then we can hash this out. What the problem is from the black side, it's like, no, you're racist, and they're shouting them down, and it's making people run and hide, like what they do with pedophiles. Like,
yeah, I think.
do you know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like, you're targeting these people. You're never gonna find them now.
On Twitter, there's like, you got the super woke, academic, liberal blacks. I think not to blend over everything, but they create this environment where you can't have these honest conversations.
Well, like Dr. Umar. Or...
No, not him. Like he's not liberal. But no, this environment, like in terms of like, don't ask me this, Google it. Do you know what I mean? But human beings, you're gonna learn more by talking to each other and engaging in conversation. Now, if you're using me for Google for everything, that's one thing.
Well, yeah. Well, if I'm just like, well,
Was it really that bad, Michael?
No,
The slavery.
start googling things like, how far is it from Philadelphia to Wisconsin? You're like, this isn't. What kind of Google do you think?
Yeah, but just like human.
What's the moon made of? You're like, this has nothing to do with race.
But just like human conversations about things, you're supposed to have those. That's how you break barriers.
We've done that. Like that's part of the thing. Like I think we're doing this podcast. Like we've had that all the time where like we have like big discussions about things like that where I give like a white perspective, you give a black perspective. Sometimes like I'm there as a white person, I go like, yeah, I definitely got that wrong. But there's also times where I sit there and be like, no, because I don't think it's always that like white people are just inherently evil, racist. Again, we're capable of it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, as a community, you know, as history shows. But there's a lot of times where people will, you know, I think just go like, well, it's because a white person was racist, that and the other. And it actually happened yesterday, and I was part of the problem with it on Twitter. There was a guy where they edited it where he was talking about on the Queen's Jubilee thing, and he goes, oh, I used to go home and my grandma would always go about curries and all of that. No, I don't want any of that foreign muck. And they edited it there, and he actually went on to say, well, I actually grew up and learned to really like that food. But they'd edited it so particularly just to be like, this guy in a Union Jack tie is a bigot and a racist, when actually he was going, actually, I was a big fan of all of this stuff, and it was just done for no other reason than to cause divide. Yeah. To cause, and I got totally roped into it, totally brought into this thing where I was like, this is why you don't let old people on TV.
Yeah, but yeah, that happens a lot. And what I want to say something, I might be drifting off, but it's happening inside the Met Police in terms of entitlement. We have like it's called the intranet. And it's like where they release videos and stuff like that, and then they have like a comment section. Jesus Christ, the comment section. It's like YouTube. It is terrible. Really? You would think that it's not. You would think, oh, I shouldn't say this, I'll get fired. Nope. People are out here saying right now it feels like they're trying to, okay, so white males feel oppressed.
Yeah, of course.
In the Metropolitan Police, even though they make up like 86%, they're oppressed. So and what's happened is the Met have gone, okay, cool. Look, what we're gonna do is we want black people to excel. We want Asians. We want everyone to excel. Right now, they're not, and we need to figure out why. And we need to help if we can. The white males were like, hell no. Why are you doing that? Where's my help? I'm like, bro, you're 86%. Yeah, but if Dominic gets this job and he becomes a sergeant, he doesn't deserve it. It's like, why do you think that? It's like, because he's getting help. So clearly he's not intelligent enough to do it. It's like, well, what about all the other stupid morons that are sergeants? Why are you not moaning about them? Well, no, well, you're doing that now and I'm suffering. It's like, well, why don't you just be smarter and better than me? Yeah. It's like, well, they honestly believe that they are more intelligent than every other black, Asian, Chinese, whatever officer, and they shouldn't get the opportunity. And what I say to them, I say, bro, the Met's just trying to fix all of the racist stuff they've been doing for years. It's really hard to fix it. So some people are going to get, stepped on a little bit. Unfortunately, it's your time. Yeah. But just remember, up until this point, it's been blacks, Asians, Chinese, whatever. they've been getting stepped on since then. So you need to calm down, just accept it.
Yeah.
Bro, on my TikTok, yeah, you saw it. You know the commissioner's basically saying suck it up. Basically, white guys suck it up. Black people have hurdles. They have hurdles. Just accept it. I've got people attacking me. They're like, oh, well, you know, maybe the blacks don't deserve it. Maybe the blacks aren't good enough. I'm like, wait, yeah, I'm the white guy. No, I'm not the white guy speaking. Why don't you direct it at the commissioner of the police? They literally come after me, and I'm like, I'm not even a sergeant, bro. I just hold a gun. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, TikTok comments we've our TikTok comments we had to stop looking at. Yeah, TikTok is
Not good for self-esteem.
horrible. But I was going to say there's a funny there's comedian Patricia Neal who has a funny bit on like Opie and Anthony one time where he's talking about like we're truly gonna be like when he's talking about when he sees like where he wants to see black people get to, and he was like, when we're allowed to be mediocre, and that was his thing. He goes,
Yeah, black excellence is exhausting, man.
Bro.
when he goes, you see it in like in American football. He goes, there'll be a terrible black quarterback, and he was like, and I know, and that's why I love football because nobody cares anymore.
Yeah.
He goes, we've had it done. And so his thing with Obama was he wanted Obama to be in it. He's like, I don't care about the first black president. I care about the first mediocre black president that nobody cares about. That
I
everyone's
just want to see a rubbish film with the black guy just wakes up and goes to the shop. That's it. He just goes to the shop.
Jamali was making me laugh one time because we were talking about Tyler Perry films, and he goes, "What? Not everyone has to be CEO of a company."
It's true.
He's like, just someone could be a plumber, someone could be a bricklayer, like one person.
in the black
Everyday
community-
excellence? Come on, brother. I'm
Bro,
tired.
You'll see it in the ZZ Mills comments. People are like, yeah, but he's not a sergeant, so he hasn't even got any power. What does he know? I'm like, why do I need to be a sergeant to speak
Yeah.
on topics? Like, dude, just like, you have no rank, so you have no power here. It's like, yeah, I do.
I think comments on like things like that as well, though. Comment sections, like you have to like learn with things like that, especially online. Is that do you ever leave comments on things? Do you know what I mean? No, you got shit going on in your life. The people who leave comments, I always think are people like whenever someone wants to comment on comedy or all of that stuff, they're always, oh, what you should have done with this joke is this, this, and this. And it's like, well, you go fucking do it then.
Yeah.
If they want to comment about you being a police officer or you being so, you go do it. Like the opportunity is there, but people just want to. It's easier for them to have a negative outlook on their life than look inwards, like what we were saying earlier with people blame racism and things like that. It's easier for people to look out and go like, oh, well, these are the issues, so there's no point in me trying.
Yeah, they don't want to go in the arena and do it themselves.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and you see it. You see it with fighters like at the gym and stuff. That there's always like, I've never known a fighter who a lot of fighters I've met who's lost on points justly. Who's like, oh yeah, no, I lost on points because that guy was better than me.
Yeah,
It's always the ref and the politics and
yeah,
this
that happened
stuff.
to me in my last fight. I got knocked. Do you see it? I
Yeah.
got knocked down. That guy frazzled my brain.
I told you, you're 6'4", you got knocked down. How
Hell
tall
yeah,
is
that
this
guy was swinging.
Really?
And I got back up though. Don't get it twisted. I ain't no bitch. But I finished. I thought like some people were like, "Yo, you could have won on point." But I'm like, "No, I got knocked down, bro. Like it's cool. Just hold the L and move on."
Yeah.
And people can't do that.
People don't want to take L's no more.
I don't understand it.
Turn the loss into a lesson.
How do you find like the day of fight? Do you get nervous before you fight?
No,
Right.
I'm not nervous. The most nervous part is probably like walking to the ring, and then once you're in the ring, it's like, yeah, we're here now.
Yeah, I think
I'm nodding my head. I don't understand.
I find that I only had one Muay Thai interclub. I had one white collar boxing thing, which wasn't even that great. I've had a few jiu-jitsu matches. Jiu-jitsu I'm all right with now. I know I'm going to get nervous. I know what I'm going to experience, so the nerves aren't too scary. But I want to go back into Muay Thai because it is great. But I found the whole day stressful, man.
For me, because of my weight, a lot of the time I'm at the end. What happened with me or mine is it's, oh, you're the last fight. Then it's, oh, no, you're fighting 2 more. And it's like, I haven't warmed up yet. And then it's like, then walking out and then mentally getting yourself ready for it. It's really good for life lessons, though. It makes you a stronger person having to put yourself in that situation and come out the other side. Like, it's weird. Like, I was talking to Mark about this. Me getting knocked down, and literally, they probably should have stopped the fight. If they knew how I felt, they would have stopped the fight because my whole body was like vibrating. Do you know what I'm saying? And I take more pride in getting back up, finishing the fight, actually testing that guy after, like, I could see 2 of them at one point. I was just like, I was frazzled. But I just kept on going. It's like, wow, I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I didn't know I could do that. I didn't think that I could get, literally, I watched the video back. I don't remember getting knocked down. I jumped straight back up again and I was just like, meh. But the reality is I was like, brrr. It was like, you know those machines that you hold on and it vibrates? It was literally that. and that stopped maybe after 30 seconds.
Did you feel it the next day?
Yeah, there's the adrenaline.
No, there
make
was
it
no pain.
hurtless.
Oh, I broke my foot in probably like I broke 2 toes because I kicked him in anger. Don't ever fight in anger. Don't fight in anger. Kicked him in anger. I broke 2 toes, probably like a fracture on my foot as well. I didn't feel my head. My head wasn't the problem, but everything else was a problem. Like it was like Mia will tell you she was looking after me, so she would be like, "Oh, you were repeating yourself." And being like, "Where's all that?" I was like, "I don't remember that. Maybe that's the problem. I don't remember that." And it's like, "Yeah, that happened." So
Does the adrenaline carry you through the fight?
yeah, I had a broken foot. I didn't even know. And I was still kicking the guy with my broken foot.
And you were fighting C-class, weren't you?
I was fighting. Yeah, no. I was fighting with shin pads. It was amateur.
Oh, really?
You get what I'm saying? So like, I've got a pad to protect me. I kicked him
Yeah.
so hard, I broke my foot.
Oh my god! Because I want to do one MMA fight just to say I've done it.
Yeah,
Just to
do it.
go, I've done it. No shin guards. But shit, that's a bit different to Muay Thai without shin guards.
Muay Thai about shin guards. Like, I'm gonna go C class. I might just stop at C class and just call it a day, or I might just be crazy and go to B or A class.
So just to explain to people, A class is like
Knees and elbows.
knees and elbows, and B class is knees to the head.
Yeah.
You can get knee at any level, but knees to the head is
You can do it.
yeah. But to explain, like if you get elbowed,
That's not cool.
there is like elbows to the face are not to give people tips of fighting, but you don't want to take an elbow to the face.
No.
Well, the human head is not designed to do that. I don't think. I don't have the medical.
Dr. Mike.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't want to give wrong medical advice, but I don't think the human head is supposed to
take
an
that
elbow.
trauma.
but yeah, because I find like, do you never ever think with like sparring and stuff that like, do you worry about CTE or anything like that?
No.
Fair
But
enough.
should you be though?
Should I? In sparring hit, not many people hit me. You got like Theo, he hits quite hard.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Oh,
Theo,
yeah.
he's a big guy. But remember, I weigh like 92. So I'm quite heavy. So I'm quite a big guy. So I'm not.
You rattled me with a punch one time, yeah.
You punched him.
Yeah, he sparked me.
Did you have the
video?
Sparked me a few times.
Maybe. I'll try to find it.
There was one
Can we
time
do it? Let's record.
I walked onto a hook because I was usually the taller guy, which was so whenever I had to go fight a taller guy, I just didn't know what to do. And I knew I had to close you down, like get on the inside, but I don't really know what I'm doing there. And I swear to God, I took this hook, yeah, and I could not tell you anything about the rest of that session other than I was in aisle 13 of Tesco. I just came to, and I'm in aisle 13 of Tesco, and I was looking at like I'd always go get like a Kellogg Crunchy Nut Bar or something after sparring, and I was just there looking at them all, and I'm like, did I just have a spar? And the last thing I remember was this hook hitting me in the face.
I think you should be worried about CTE. If you've not been checked out already, I think.
But yeah, now sparring is you don't get that many shots at it. But now it's a bit different now than Tinkeo. I don't spar as much, and now I'm a bit more picky about who I spar with. That's the
Really?
key. You gotta be
Yeah.
picky. So especially as the fight coming up in 2 weeks.
Where are you fighting? Go on, promote your fight.
No, I just can't remember. Is it wrapped and ready? There's a poster.
Yeah, there is. We didn't bring it with us.
It's in Twickenham.
It's in Twickenham.
Fight night.
Yeah, I'll put it on my Instagram and make it easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine. 25th of June. 25th of June. Yeah, it's on the 25th of June in Twickenham.
Got much of a weight cut?
No, since my last fight, I was at 85. I come all the way down from 92 to 85. I'm 87 now.
Oh, great.
So I'm just chilling. I'm just here, just living life and just working out.
Do you know what my problem is when it comes to like fighting and stuff? You know, some people get fight or flight.
Your ability.
Yeah, that's up there. That's one of my.
So many.
my
What do you
technique.
mean you're only into I can think of 15. Go on.
Some people get fight or flight. I get tired when there's
Freeze.
danger, which is like fight. At least if you're flighting, you're escaping. I think my desire to nap is probably the worst response.
You're like
Too
Snorlax. Effective, but just go to sleep. I know what you mean. I don't have fight. I have flight a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I always have flight, conflict or anything in that sense. But even before fights, like even before fights where you've signed up and there's a load of people there, I always walk out and think, no, but I could run off. Like nobody would
No
stop
one would
me.
know.
No one, no one would. You know.
I think I'm still got that kind of element because I don't really promote my fights because I don't know, maybe there's just a fear of disappointing. That's mine. I've got fear of disappointment. I don't want to let people down. So that's a real fear for me.
And
It's not yourself.
Is it a thing you do for your? Sorry,
You don't want to let people down, not yourself.
Getting in for me, I don't fight to be a champion. If I be a champion, it's a byproduct. I fight because I want to like achieve things in my life, and I think fighting, I don't know, it's weird. It's one of them.
Yeah.
So the more I fight and put myself in uncomfortable positions, and you know, hopefully, it makes me a better person.
I think it does. I think you learn so much through it. Like it changed my life. Martial arts always that I'll always be thankful for. To the people who've trained me don't know how much they mean to me. You know, like people like Mark, someone like that. They they mean a lot to me, and especially training at a gym like KO, which had its problems. We're on the Patreon. They're not going to be part of it. Yeah, it could be.
Crew Sam has joined.
Yeah, but it was like a fucking cult at times.
Yeah, we were saying that in training. Like, it was kind of cool. Since joining New Wave, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, the gym we train at now, like you guy like Colin, who runs the gym, will sit down and just have a chat with you about whatever you're talking about. You wouldn't get that at the old place.
Yeah, you had to be someone before you can have any kind of conversation with Crew Sam.
And it was, but they did make incredible fighters.
Sick coach.
Incredible. Like the Muay Thai there it's insanely good.
You know, that's one of my worries.
So fighting,
fight one of them, you know that. That's a real thing. They got a couple fighters in my weight class. I'm like, damn, like I might have to fight them.
They've got a couple good people there and all now. Like their training's, their training is it's so quick. It's so right. Everything has a response. And everything has an answer as well with that place.
So you're saying, it's interesting to me. Fighting makes you better people overall.
It allows me to deal with situations. I can diffuse situations. I don't need to fight no one. I'm so confident that I can destroy like 90% of the population. Why do I like? He calls me a dickhead or he starts swearing at me. I can just be like, yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, we're gonna go this way now. You can just chill.
Yeah,
you can stay relaxed because you know you can I know you probably can't fight.
Yeah.
Because if you could, most fighters are humble. For a reason, because you don't know who can fight. So you're like, let me just chill.
Yeah,
it's cool. So the people that are talking, you're just like, whatever, bro.
Yeah,
you don't need to. And then you got people like Jordan who will chat. Old Jordan, new Jordan's not like that. But old Jordan used to be like, let's go. And he'll talk crap to you and be like, I'm down to fight. And you're like, God,
so you
this
walk
guy's
through life
number one
with less fear.
Yeah.
I think I can understand as well. Like there's a girl at our gym, Kate, Queen of South.
Kate's a beast.
She'll fuck me up, bro. I've said this on this podcast before. I can't do anything. Like I could put up a fight, but she would win. She would beat the shit out of me, and that happens, and there's that's a thing to do with. But what I want to ask you, do you think one of your sort of not fearful attitudes towards fighting is because you're in the police and you actually probably see real danger or have been in real danger, that fighting it's a very real danger, but it's also not.
Yeah, super controlled.
It's super got a
ref.
Yeah, like if you get hurt, there is the potential, something could go wrong. Yeah, you could break something, whatever. But it's more likely that will happen in training than an actual fight. But if you got whereas there's is it Krokok?
Mirko
Krokok, who was in the Croatian
anti-terrorism.
Yeah, and there's this stare down of Vanderlei Silva. I just tell people, go Google this, right? He's staring down Vanderlei. So Vanderlei Silva was known as the Axe Murderer. This guy was a Brazilian. He was so sick, and he goes to stare down, and I've seen this through Joe Rogan, and it's a great clip, but he stares down, and Krokok's like, bro, I have been in a anti-terrorist. Sorry, I've not been terrorist. I've been in an anti-terrorist unit, and it's staring.
Very clear distinction.
Very clear distinction. Very well. One man's terrorist, another man. One man's anti-terrorist unit is another man's terrorist. And it's
to the terrorists. Yeah.
And he goes to stare, and he looks at Vanderlei like, bro, this ain't shit.
Yeah, it's not real.
Do you have an element of that? Like sometimes
I'm a firearms officer now.
Yeah.
If I have to do something, it's normally because they're trying to kill someone or me with probably a gun. That's real. There's all bets are off there. Do you know what I'm saying? I may have to kill someone, or someone's trying to kill me, and it's not like the frontline police officers have that fear as well. And theirs is probably higher because they have to go to random stuff. But mine is, if I have to do something, A, it's going to be on the news, and B, someone probably might die. There's a possibility someone's going to die. Do you know what I'm saying? So when it's getting in the ring, it's like,
So I should become a firearms officer to get over my fear of a
Could be
white belt jiu-jitsu tournament.
I mean, yeah, that could be a thing. You could try that.
Please do not give Elliot a gun and a badge. Please, no. Please.
But yeah, man, it's a weird thing. It's weird because I'm desensitized to it now. I go to work, I do my job, I go out there, we laugh, we catch joke, we mess about, blah 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 blah. We're serious, but realistically, I'm protecting buildings and people.
Yeah.
Where if a terrorist attack's gonna happen, it's gonna be more than likely where I am. So you have to be mentally prepared for that. It's crazy because we do drills and stuff, and it's real to an extent. But yeah, it's nothing.
Feels like you got a bit of a stoic attitude on life. Sort
People
of like a
say
calm.
that. It's weird. I don't know.
You meditate or anything like that?
I mean, I used to a little bit. I read. My favorite books is the Art of War and the Tao Te Ching. So those, because I always say this, you have to read one and then taper off with the other.
What's the Tao teaching?
The Tao Te Ching's by Lao Tzu. So it basically is life philosophies and telling you how to be like a good, just a good human being in life, and basically be nice to people and stuff like that. Then you got the Art of War is like. Sun Tzu is like, how do you destroy the whole world?
Yeah.
How to take over this company? How to like oppress people and all that? So I have to read both,
Right.
because you'll read one, it's like always take up a position of like show weakness, but when you're at your strongest and stuff like that, and then Lao Tzu's like hug people, just give them a hug. Don't be a bad person. So,
Subdue the ultimate art of war is to subdue the enemy without having to throw a strike.
Yeah, don't have to fight.
But the art of war is because Sun Tzu's like interesting, because I love my history and stuff. Like Sun Tzu was evil. he was this is the big like
level, wasn't it?
We talked about this before. At what point in
He's a
history?
best-selling author, that's what he is.
He is. He was evil, but he was
real.
Yeah, but he was a Sunday Times bestseller, so you got to weigh those options up. But yeah, he like even within writing it to show the harshness or something, there was a story I can't quite remember it, where the women of the house he decapitated.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah. Like there was like real evil. He wrote the original Art of War is written in the blood of his enemies. It's like
I didn't know that. But
That's heavy metal.
Yeah, it is. It's so when people go like, you should read the Art of War and things like that, I think people should. It's only like 20 pages long.
Yeah, it's not long, and it's written in a weird way. It's very short. Each page is like 8 or 9 lines on it. It's not. A lot.
But it is a book that like I'm like go into it, but learn the history of the book as well. Like don't just read it and be like, oh yeah, like realize this was a deranged person.
Wait,
It's like
he,
people
he
who-
actually wrote it in blood.
Yeah, the blood of his enemies.
Damn.
He wrote
Sorry,
it.
your face is so intense.
Damn, like, dude, like, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He used it as it's
Is that why it's so short? Because blood.
Yeah. He ran out.
He didn't have many
smudging it,
enemies.
like, no!
He ran out of them. So he had to use the women instead. So he was like, what the heck, man? That is, I didn't know that,
What
man.
came first, the idea to write the book or the idea to write it in the blood?
Do you reckon they got the first draft and they're like, you're gonna have to change a few things? He's like, I'm gonna need another war.
Fucking typo, fucking out.
And his just wife is like, no, not again, son.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's like because we've had this before, and this is like Genghis Khan is revered as this great warrior, but he was arguably as bad as Hitler.
He would be cancelled today, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. He used to dine. They'd get their servants and or people they'd captured, and they'd build a dance floor on it and dance on it and crush the people and like dine on it and this.
So many dictators and warmongers are problematic when you look at their history.
I was going to say Vlad the Impaler, but very problematic understatement of the podcast.
Yeah, he was a bit.
Yeah, he was a bit annoying.
You think you got issues in the force? At least there's no one called the Impaler.
The diversity schemes in the Mongol army. Oh my gosh.
Imagine trying to bring diversity to Vlad the Impaler. I just think a lot of the people doing the impaling, it would help that within the community.
We had more women just for representation.
So, look, this has been like this guy. But thank you so much for coming to do this and like being funny, being insightful, doing the work you do.
It's flown by, man.
I'm genuinely stunned that you'd come and do this podcast.
I have to. there's no other way. You have to get out into the community. You got to talk to people, and you got to spread the word yourself. Because unfortunately, the Met can't do it for reasons, and I understand why.
Yeah.
So I just do it on their behalf.
Would you have like for wrapping up, like a parting message? Like, what would you?
Mass participation
Mass participation.
and accountability. So white officers need to take accountability for what they're doing, and black people need to come en masse and say, well, I want to be part of this organization. Although it has its problems, every organization has its problems, and we need to like find a way to push through, like push society forward. Do you know what I'm saying? Because we ain't gonna win the way we're doing it now. It's not working. Simples. So just come, join the Met Police. If that's your thing, I'm not saying everyone needs to do it, but if that's your thing, come and hit me up, innit?
Because they ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean?
The Met ain't going nowhere. Like, so just come, man. But yeah.
Yeah, no, well, thank you so much. Thank you
Jeez.
for doing your work.
Definitely gotta have you back again another
Absolutely.
time, man. Just shoot the shit.
I mean, definitely if I get fired after I'll be back, like,
Can't be fat, Mike.
I need a job.
Guys, thank you. This has been Btec Philosophers. We'll be back next week. I think there's a very big juxtaposition next week. We've got some fucking lunatic coming on to talk about drugs.
No.
But we like to have balance.
Yeah, that's life. Balance, man.
Sun Tzu.
But yeah, this has been Btec Philosophers. I've been Elliot Steele.
I'm Michael Odewale. Thank you for listening. Woo!
I